Gundam box cards. You've probably seen it if you're terminally online, like me. If not, Instagram creator Perfect Pinoy, Perfect Grey Pinoy, showed how he turned some boxes and box art into cards, like collectible trading card sorts of things. So I've done that with all my boxes because I had a lot of boxes, and my original plan was to turn them into like a wall art thing. However, I had way too many, so I've basically gone through and turned them all into these cards, and I think they look amazing. We'll do a proper look through all the ones I've done in a bit, but let me show you, after doing over 100, the process I found that has worked the best for me. Okay, imagine this is just a regular box here. This is the only thing I really have left I can make something out of. What I've done is I've taken a regular card, and this is very important. You need to start with this. You need to take a regular card, any kind of playing card, like Pokemon card or anything. They'll be standard size, and then make a template. Make the template out of something thick and durable that isn't gonna, get dug into. So I used, an extra box for that. I would also recommend, if you can find something that's clear, like a clear flat container, make the template out of that. If not, you can cut a window like I have done here. I've also marked where the center is. I've also marked where the actual labels are going to go. All of this is all going to help you decide where you're going to actually cut your card out of. So here we want to go for around the head. We know that the title of the suit is going to be up there, and then what I'll do is just take a regular pencil or a pen. I'll choose a pencil because in case you mess up, it's not too noticeable. And you want to trace around, and you want to make sure you hold down your card, don't let it slip. Trace around like so. Now, you can very faintly see there is an outline there. What I then do is, you should use a box cutter, but it's just a rough cut I'm doing it here. It's going to be a lot easier on regular boxes as opposed to this thicker cardboard. There you go. Alright, now to get closer, I'm going to bring in scissors. Again, all this will be easier with a proper, the regular boxes. Now you can use a guillotine if you have one. It can be kind of expensive though, unless you try to get one second hand, and it's going to be dull. Anyway, I like to round the edges. Now if you wanted to do this really properly, then you'd get like a die cut, where it would literally just, stamp down and cut the card out. So there's your actual card. Now this is a messy process, you're going to get a lot of scraps everywhere. On the box, you'll have the range as well as Bandai logo, and you also have the title. Usually the title will be both in English and in kanji. So for example, we have our logo, and then we have our name of the suit here in English and kanji. So you'd cut those out and put them on the card, and I'll do that off camera. Okay, so we have the range, the line that it's from, and then we have our title. As you can see, it's not going to fit, so we're going to have to selectively choose where we're going to cut it and everything to make it fit. Now, one thing that's missing from here is the Bandai logo. Now, I found it can be a bit frustrating finding a size that will fit. So my suggestion would be look all over the box and pick the one that's going to fit the best with your other parts of the card. If you want everything to be perfectly uniform, your best bet is going to be just to print your own, but then that kind of defeats the whole purpose of what we're doing here. So really, if you find a size that you like and there's multiple of them on the box, I'd recommend actually just cutting those out and saving them for future cards. The most average size is around this size for the Master Grade logo. Unfortunately, Bandai doesn't seem to have like a strict style guide for how big their logos are and on all their boxes. Like usually Master Grade boxes will all be the same or similar dimensions, but the logos themselves will change. There's also, of course, the blue logos and the red logos for older printer kits. So it's really, you're going to have to get creative and mix and match some things. So for the title here, what I'm going to do is cut off this first part. And we're only going to save one line of this, right? Because it's literally just the same thing duplicated. So we cut off one line, and then we want both the kanji and the English, because it tends to look better if you can get both. Looks more authentic, or just cool. Also, older kits that don't have English, they'll have just the kanji. If you want to be super precise with where you split like the kanji up, I'd recommend opening like translator on your phone or something if you don't know how it translates, and use all those context clues to make the best card that you can. So as you can see, this is our layout so far. Looking for a logo that'll fit. I look at the box, see all of them are pretty big, unfortunately. So this is one of those cases where if you have multiple kits, you want to save the ones that have the best size logos. I'm going to try the smallest one that's on the box, but I can already tell that it's not going to fit. Yeah, oh, it might just fit. It will just fit. Now, do I like the composition of that? I don't know. Maybe bring this up so it's level at the top. Something I'll do for this thicker cardboard is I'll try and separate the layers. So if you're really careful, you can take away the other layers. And you'll be left with just, regular style. You can use a knife to help with this. However, I wouldn't use the knife to slice because it's very easy to slice through. You can use it to help catch any of the edges or whatever. So that's what I'll do for this thicker stuff. I won't do that for the card itself. We're just trying to slim down the card so it doesn't take so much space up in the binder, and that is something that you are going to notice. Just the thickness will add up over time. So if you're doing a lot of them like I am, Just be aware of that. So I'm going to continue to do that for this, the master grade, maybe the title, and be back in a moment. Okay, all of these have been delaminated, you could say. So what I would use to glue these on is just PVA glue. On a scrap piece of cardboard. And then I'd recommend you take like a cut off and use that to help spread it around. It's gonna mean you can have as little squeeze out as possible. Don't worry, it will dry clear. That's why I like using PVA. You can use a brush if you want, but just know you're gonna mess that brush up forever if you use it. Now, some parts might curl a bit. Just try and make them as flat as possible before putting them down. Make sure everything's lined up. Good thing about PVA is it is water soluble, as well as it has a long drying time, so you can move things around a bit. There you go. Now there's one more thing we need to do, and that's to put it in a card sleeve. Now there are a couple of different type of card sleeves that you can get. You can get perfect fit sleeves, or you can get loose fitting sleeves. I would recommend for your cards, get loose fitting sleeves. If you are going to put them in a perfect fit sleeve, you are probably going to have to trim down and maybe undersize your cards a little bit, just because of the thickness of them. But once you do put them in a sleeve, it will protect them and stop it from catching on things, because you've got all these different raised edges. I'm going to pull out this Haro. Now you can wait for the card to dry. You don't necessarily have to if you're really careful. So here's a loose fitting sleeve here. And, oh, we can see that we might have made the card just a little too big. That's nothing to worry about. That's why we use a metal ruler. This is not a very sharp blade, but it will hopefully do the trick. Now it's going to look a little messy because I'm not doing this in the most efficient and easy way. And yeah, you can tell that blade's not very sharp. Oh, I think it will fit. It's going to be a little tight, but it will fit. Now, if things are snagging a bit too much as you try and put it in, I'd recommend taking an extra piece of cardboard and use it to help just get the lip of the actual sleeve over the part it's catching on. I'll do this bit off camera because I can't see what's catching on through the camera. There we go. It's very, very tight because of how thick the actual card is. But just try and keep it as straight as possible. Worried it might catch here. So I'm going to do that. Oops, did catch a little bit on the corner. It's no biggie. Just massage it out. Come on. Easier said than done, jeez. Let's see how it's caught under there. There we go. Okay. There you go. Now it's fully protected. The reason why you want to make sure it's properly dry before you put it in is because you might misalign things when you're sliding it on. There you go, there's a card. Usually what I do is I write the date on the back, the year I made it. And yeah, that's basically it. Now I'll show you all the ones I've done over the past few days. It did take me quite a while on average. Each card can take 5 to 10 minutes to make, depending on how much cutting there is or if you mess up. Good thing is you can cut different parts of the boxes, and that's why we have a window so we can actually see what it's going to look like and everything. Hopefully all of that is helpful and useful if you want to make your own. Now I'm going to show you what my cards look like. There we go. I know lighting isn't the best, but you can see everything. In fact, let's do a little bit of that. So, first page, we got Haros. All my Haroplas. Probably see some of them in the background. I did think about not doing premium Bandai stuff, but decided in the end to do it. Second page, more Haropla stuff over here. Then we start on our high grades. Here we got alternate universe stuff. We got the origin line as well as a random no grade, which is close to 1/44 scale. Then we've got Universal Century here. Some of these have come out really nice, and I'm really happy with how they came out. Right. I just got an idea. Does this have batteries in it? Yes, it does. Looks a bit better. Ooh. There you go. Some of them that I didn't expect to come out as well as they did. I like the Garibaldi and Garibaldi. No, I don't remember. But the ones that came out like best, like you can see, like the Moon Gundam looks great. And then we got more over here. Universal Century. You'll notice some of them that have like 2 components in them are split into 2 cards. So here's the regular Gundam and here's the G-Fighter. Also, if there's too much text and it infers, it starts to cover up the portrait, I'll split the text up. And that tends to work out well in the end. And then it's some more HGUC. Then the real grades. I did something a bit extra special with the real grades, which you'll see later on. But for now, got just our regular real grades. Again, a lot of text. Have to split it up sometimes. Then we got some 1/100s, alternate universe master grades, and we got the cars over here. And the master grade EX, the only master grade EX I have. Universal Century stuff, master grades. That's my favourite line I like to collect. Is a Deep Striker, that's the actual picture. Grab the card. Just the one I made as an example. I think I prefer that one. But here's the example of where I've used logo from a different box on there. Mark 78s. Now you can organise these in a more specific way if you really want to, but I'm happy with this order. I do count the turn A in Universal Century. We've got some Xeon suits. These look so cool as cards. I love how the Mono Eye suits look with the cards. Then we've got some more alternate universe stuff. The Universal Century that wouldn't fit on the other page. Some of these kits I don't even have anymore. Then we've got Premium Bandai. I know I had the Haro before, but this is like regular kits. Now these look like shiny cards, which I absolutely love. Like, and thinking I'd like these as much as I did, but yeah, they came out looking really good. I wish the boxes were actually shiny, and that would look really cool as a card. Oh, little spoiler. And then yes, this does count. I don't know if this counts as premium. It's more limited than Premium Bandai. So interesting thing, for some of these, I didn't cut up the front of the box. I only cut the side tabs. I did that for this kit as well as the Masquerade EX. And sometimes that will actually work out better because the portraits on the the tabs, the portrait on the side of the box will be smaller than the one on the front, so it's less zoomed in. Right? Sometimes it'll be more zoomed in, like for example the unicorn up here. I messed up on the first one I did, so this is the second attempt, and it looks a lot better. However, it is slightly more zoomed in, whereas if I did it right the first time, zoom would actually match better with the rest of the cards here. But yeah, so this Masquerade EX is actually from the side, the picture on the side, because I wanted to save the front of the box because it was a really pretty box. And of course I wanted to save the box for the Zeta here because it's a very special kit. And then here's what I did with the rest of the real grey boxes, because they have a really cool zoomed in portrait. I thought, well, why not make a slightly abstract looking card of that? And here we go. And I'm really happy with how this came out. That's not a real grade, but it was zoomed in enough that it works. And some of these are from different parts of the boxes. For example, Soletta, Mercury, and Shinji. Perfect grade, Ava, and then the 1/100 Ariel. Now, perfect grade boxes, earlier ones before they did art on them, a bit abstract. They're a bit abstract. Now they do have the inserts, but I like those inserts a lot, and I wanted to keep them as regular art. So I actually have them here. I definitely could make a card out of these, but I thought, well, why not come up with something a bit more interesting and abstract? It's like you obviously know what it's from, you know what it represents. I think it came out looking good, so we have these more abstract perfect grades here, and then of course perfect grade Unleashed. This was from the back of the box, I believe, this portrait here. The rest of them were just too big, so that's where that's from. The Evangelion. Had to get a bit creative with which letters I use for that, just to get everything to fit. There's a Builder's Part box. That's from the side of the box there, because the rest of it looked too abstract, too hard to read. Then we've got some more regular non-Gunpla stuff. I love this line. I was like, oh, I kept the boxes, so I might as well use them. Now there's more than just the Gundam boxes. We also have some Kabaya kit boxes as well, which Again, you have to get a bit creative and changing the orientations of things, but I think it came out looking good. Same for these flame karate kits, they look great. Again, get creative with which parts you cut out and everything. It's something you get used to, you build up a skill, I guess. And then the rest of this is just regular, like, collectible cards from Transformers. So yeah, that's basically all of them. All 120 something, I think, if you include all the Haropla. If you don't, it's just like 102 or 3. I remember distinctly Master Grade Strike Freedom EX is around 100 of the regular kits I've made. And like I said before, on the back of them I wrote the date. I can also write extra information about like if it was a custom or not. You know, I've done that for some of these. A lot of them I just snap build and top coat. Don't do too much more to it. And yeah, that's just about it. It does take up a lot less space than saving all those boxes. However, even the space this takes up is a little bit more than I was expecting it to be. This binder is not full, however, closed up, it kind of is full, just because of the thickness of all those cards there. So yeah, that's definitely something you need to keep in mind if you're doing this yourself. Maybe get a ring binder instead of a set binder like this. It's Pokemon themed because it was the only one I could find that was nice material and everything. Yeah, you could probably get away with a ring binder. You can get nice ring binder Dragon Shield ones that are leather, like pleather, not leather. And I have that for my Pokemon cards, but I don't know, you can change how many pages there are. Maybe one day I'll switch my Pokemon cards to this folder and switch these cards to that. And that one's pretty full because that has a lot of pages. This has like 200 something pages in there. I don't know if that's going to be enough for my Pokemon cards though. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, that's the whole card thing. Again, not my idea. It was Perfect Pinoy on Instagram. And I believe I saw that video and then I saw Mecha Gaikatsu make a video on it as well. So if you want to give it a go and do it yourself, feel free. It's a fun thing to do. The most expensive parts are going to be just the sleeves and your binder to put the cards in. You don't necessarily have to do the sleeves. I would recommend doing them. You can get a pack of those clear loose fitting ones for like I believe a $1. I mean, that's why they call them penny sleeves. You can get a pack of 100 for $1. I don't have any left. All I have are perfect fits here, but you know, you can use non-clear ones as well if you want. It might be a bit cheaper, but make sure it is consistent at least. Also, the coloured sleeves, they tend to be matte. They don't have a clear thing on the front, whereas the penny sleeves on perfect fit ones, those are perfectly clear and don't cloud up the art in any way. All my sleeves I've collected from Elite Trainer boxes. Yeah. So, that's about it. I hope it was educational. I definitely recommend giving it a go. Recycle all those boxes, get rid of all the scraps. I have all my recycling over here now. That big box under there, especially all the scraps and everything. So yeah, it saves a lot of space, and it looks really cool. It's something you can show off to a bunch of people. It might take a bit of skill to get into it. I did try with, I borrowed a guillotine off a friend. It wasn't much easier. It will save time in the big cuts, you know, the big slices and everything for the actual, you know, cutting out the main parts of the body of the box. But like as for getting like exact and everything, I just found regular scissors easier. Make sure you get a nice sharp pair as well, and make sure you have a really nice sharp blade. and a metal ruler. Make sure it's a metal ruler and not any other kind of ruler, because you'll just cut into the ruler with the blade. I think that's about everything I wanted to cover. I hope, again, like I said before, I hope this is educational. Hope you enjoyed. I'm going to be coming back with more stuff in the future. There's a little peek of what I'm working at the moment. And see you next time. If you liked it, you know what to do. Things that really help the channel are subscribing and sharing the video and all of that stuff. And if you didn't like it in any way, feel free to tell me in the comments below. And that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.